CLB.
What up, world? It's Charles Brown back again. Another Talking Facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified on all upcoming episodes. All right, man. Jeen-Yuhs Part 2 is now on Netflix, and I told you I would be back to review Part 2. Part 1 was just fantastic. Part 2 is coming in the focus of what this whole documentary is going to be. I just watched it literally last night. Right, and I know Part 3 is probably going to drop in I think tomorrow, right? So I got to get Part 2 review up before I watch Part 3, and let it marinate, right? So Part 2 of Genius, the documentary of Kanye's life, I misunderstood when I first heard about this documentary because I thought it was going to be constant filming from the time he started College Dropout to right now, and apparently that can't be what this is if we're already 2 episodes in and we're still on College Dropout. So I'm like, the third one, they must going to cram everything in, which is whatever. But that means he doesn't have damn near 20 years of footage, right? So he's just probably going to wrap it up with everything that Kanye's done the last couple moments he got to spend time with him, because it looks like they're not going to be spending a lot of time too much as this goes forward. And especially by this being the third one out of 3 and you only got an hour and a half. You're not going to be able to put up 15, 16 years into those into that hour and a half, right? So with that being said, this is a remarkable piece of work. Again, we get to see early Kanye and what is happening, right? What you're seeing, if you are a true, let's say, hip-hop head, for lack of a better word, right? You're seeing what, especially at that time, between 93 and 2003, right? So this documentary they're talking about, he's in, it's pretty much between, it seemed like 2000 and 2003 is where they first start filming this stuff with the Hoop Dreams mentality of, maybe a little earlier than that he started it, but it looks to culminate around 03 when he dropped College Dropout, in 04 when he won the Grammys and all this and that, right? And you are seeing what hip-hop really was at the time. And I'm going to try to do my best to explain it, because to true hip-hop heads, Kanye was not an anomaly. He was the norm. That's what we were, right? We were backpack-wearing, polo shirt, hoodies. Some of us had chains. Some of us didn't really care to rock chains, because, to be honest with you, when you're rocking chains in the city, you are becoming food, and you got to be willing. Are you willing to really get hurt or hurt somebody for that chain? So some of us didn't need the chain, right? But a lot of us were talking conscious rap. A lot of us were talking about our surroundings and our situation. And to be honest with you, I know this is going to sound crazy, but even as a Jay-Z fan, that Jay-Z period of Volume 1 and all that hardcore Rough Riders and Locks and all that stuff, all of that, I want to say DMX, all of that stuff was great music, right? But for the average person, that stuff was not real life. It was a fantasy life. A lot of people were trying to live up to that life, but most people were just day-to-day trying to make it. Some people hustling for a little bit of money, trying to just, or working a job, working 2 jobs, working at the mall, like Kanye says in his songs, right? I knew way more dudes working at the Gap, going in the Army, and working at the Orange Julius. Yeah, I knew hustlers. I knew quite a few hustlers. I knew a lot of people hustle, but more people were working, right? So this pack a gun and do this and that stuff was more was of an elaborate daydream, what a lot of people were trying to be. Yeah, a lot of people had guns. A lot of people got in the shootout, whatever. But as that guy's getting a shootout, you got 10 brothers over here going to their job at McDonald's, right? So it was not the norm. The norm, especially if you were a hip-hop rapper, you bumped into other rappers, y'all trying to just rap bars, right? Y'all trying to just exchange beats and exchange what you know on the situation. So Kanye was one of us. We felt that. We felt all of that. Oh, listen, College Dropout was a freaking classic. But it wasn't just relatable to us overly hip hop people. It was everybody, females, male, of all ages, races, and cultures, because it was real. Every single song on there was real. It was amazing. And to hear that Dame Dash and Jay-Z, in essence, if you haven't watched this is a spoiler if you didn't know, but if you really pay attention, Dame Dash and Jay-Z shelved Kanye, and I'm going to explain why. Kanye was too hip-hop for them. But in this glossy industry of pop, shoot 'em up, I'm a drug dealer, I'm a killer, I'm a this and that, he did not fit. His beats fit because his beats was hot. But they didn't want the other stuff that he was talking about. Not just Jesus Walks. A lot of people try to chalk it up to Jesus Walks. They didn't want any of it. Because their ears was gravitating to who could spit this hot Beanie Siegel type verse. Right? Who could spit this hot Philly Freeway or Skeeno and Sparks? Who could spit like that? Who could spit like Jadakiss? Who could spit like the Locks? You know what I'm saying? Who could spit like DMX? It was harder and harder and harder. It was no place. The industry, and they've been saying it forever, is a big-ass fake void of nonsense. And Kanye started spitting real stuff, and you couldn't get no deal spitting real stuff. Real stuff about going to work, hating your boss, loving your brother, hating this girl, that girl, or just trying to get laid or whatever. You couldn't spit that. You had to be Jay-Z. You had to be pick him up in the whip, let him hit you off, kick him out, go make $1 million, and put it in the bank, and don't spend no money on no chicks. Pop a bottle of sis. You know what I'm saying? And if anybody approach, you pull out whatever, and you shoot them down. You walk away unscathed. Your lawyer's gonna eat the case. It's nonsense, right? Nonsense. Like, so yeah, we love to hear that swaggadocious. We love to hear that. Oh, this guy never lost, right? I'm a huge Jay-Z fan. Show me the record where he lost, right? You might have a record like, oh, You Must Love Me, where he's talking about regret, right? Even when he lost 92 bricks, gave them all back. From the first to the fifth, gave it all back. So Jay-Z never lost. You never heard him lost on the record. And that became the mantra for every rapper. You couldn't lose. You couldn't be humble. Like, you couldn't say, I hate this job. You couldn't say, oh, when I get them sneakers, oh, man, I can't wait to get that shirt. When I get that, it's going to be crazy. You couldn't act like that. So Jay-Z and Dame ears couldn't respond. They were so out of touch with the regular person. Yeah, they knew people, but they were surrounded by thugs and wannabe thugs that was acting more thuggery. They got their big jerseys on. They got their Mitchell and S, and they got their hat on backwards. They got some Air Force Ones or some, you know what I'm saying? Just some Jordans and just cookie cutters, right? So when I say they shelved them, when Kanye went and got that deal with Epic, right? Epic wanted to sign them. If you're Dame and Jay-Z, and you need this man beats, he pumped lifeblood into your system. You can't do it all just with Just Blaze. Kanye, everybody wanted them beats. He's pumping lifeblood into your label. You can't have him go over there and get signed by Epic and stop doing beats for you. There's no actual way you can have that happen. There's millions of dollars on the line. A lot of classic records on the line going to go over there to whoever else is on Epic, Old Dirty Bastard and whoever else over there, right? So, reluctantly, if you're watching this thing, they reluctantly signed, gave him the Rockefeller chain, right? And then sent him to do more beats in L.A. with, I forgot, who was it, Dutch or somebody, right? He goes and he's overworked, he's tired. He's not making no money, he's making money off the beats, but he really wants to be a rapper. He even checks the guy, stop calling me a rapper producer, I'm a rapper, right? Because they box you. Once they say, you're a rapper producer, oh, now you just Pete Rock. You rap goofily on stuff and, you know what I'm saying? People allow it. People allow to hear you a verse 1 or 2. Like, you go back and listen to Mecca and the Soul Brother. Like, you go back and listen to Pete Rock and Seal Smooth. We allowed a verse from Pete Rock here, a verse from Pete Rock there. But at the end of the day, you didn't want to hear no whole album of Pete Rock rapping. We allowed a few producers to spit Diamond D and spit your stuff, then move and let the real rappers rap. So that's what Kanye was like, nah, I don't want to be, don't lump me in as no producer rapper. Right? That's what Hit Boy doing right now. He's a producer rapper. Kanye's like, I don't want to be no producer rapper to take me out of that. So they was like looking at him as a producer rapper. And they didn't want to lose the producer. So let's sign the rapper. But we're going to shelve him. He's over there in LA, gets into a huge car crash, almost died. At that point, they're like, oh boy, we need to cut this short. Dropped his marketing budget, dropped his studio budget. This guy, I'm watching this thing, and he's like, I was piggybacking on other artists' studio time. How do you even start that conversation? How do you go in on, who was it? He was on somebody's studio time. I'm trying to remember. Was it Ludacris? How do you go in before they get there? Because rappers are notoriously late for their studio sessions. So if you went there on time, that rapper probably won't be there for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours if you're coming at all. DMX would not show at all from a lot of them sessions. So you literally could go in there and use their time because they're getting charged for it anyway. That's what the thing that people don't know. Rappers book the session, they're getting charged. That session's being paid for because the engineer's not going to sit there while you drinking Cristal and wait to hit the clock when you get there. That's not how that works. You book it for 8, he there. You come at 9:30, okay, but you paying him regardless. So I would assume Ye is going in there when these times are booked and then trying to do what he's doing before they get there. But that's sad that this label's doing that. That's why I say they shelved him. Jay and Dame did not want to lose his beats, so they signed him and put him on the shelf. It's the most foul stuff ever. And when I hear all of this stuff that, man, if it wasn't for Dame and it wasn't for Jay, they really ain't save him like they be making it. If you paying attention, they really didn't save Kanye like they acting like they saved him, right? His beats he was going to blow regardless. He was going to blow regardless. Ye was already popping on beats. So it was a matter of who was snatching them up first. So they snatched them up for them beats. And you pay attention to the documentary, every time he spit, they walking away. They don't want to hear them raps. They ain't want to hear none of that. So you sitting there listening and you watching him recording College Dropout in his bedroom and in people's houses and other stuff. You're sitting there like, this music is better than 99% of the stuff that was on Rockefeller. Listen, who on Rockefeller outside of Kanye did the number? He did 4 million on that first album. Who outside of that did that? I don't remember Beanie having no. Where the sales at? Beanie was the next thing closest to him. It was Jay, Kanye, then who after that? Let's go down the line. Memphis Bleak, Freeway, Emilio Sparks. Who we talking about? Oskino, right? Who done these numbers? But their ears couldn't hear beyond this tough talk and all this bang bang hit them. And I get it. That's what the industry was promoting at the time. All this tough talk, bang bang, shoot them up. This dude had to spend $33,000 of his own money to shoot a video for Through the Wire, which he produced himself and rapped on himself. That song was better than everything they had. And don't get me wrong, Rockefeller had some dope, which he was a part of the beat making. But they shelved him until he spent that $33,000 of his own money on that video. Jay and Dame couldn't care less about this guy's rapping. If you're watching the show, he had to fight to get that verse on that, was it the Bonnie and Clyde remix? And some other song. He'd fight and I'm auditioning for you. You're auditioning for Jay. I thought Jay believed in you. I thought Dame believed in you, right? He had to play so many games. He had to go over here and get a record deal over here for them to even acknowledge that he was even a rapper. Because they wasn't ready. They was, at this point, I'm really believing that they was so corporate with their structure of what they thought. They couldn't hear nothing else. The first thing they was looking for, these hard bars of this, all this fake thug garbage, right? That's all they could see. So when he wasn't spitting that, they was just like, nah, next. Why would a guy with this much talent be auditioning for this? But this is why he has that chip on the shoulder. Because it wasn't given to him. This guy had to take it. And I know a lot of people, when they went and found out that their budget wasn't there and they didn't have no studio sessions, they would have folded up and called it a night. They would have been like, man, this label's trash. I want off. He did not do that. To his credit, we got to give this man credit. He could have walked away from Rockefeller and been like, I'm on set. Just let me know. He could have been like, free the locks. You know what I'm saying? Like, free the locks. And who knows where he would have ended up. Probably wouldn't be even talking about him right now. But at the end of the day, he's persevered all that. And it's amazing to watch this transformation. And his mom is a sweetheart. Let's just call it what it is. This lady's pure gold. This lady's an angel, bro. Like, this lady is an angel. Right? She's just so sweet. Like, every time she comes on screen, every time, she just proud and she don't care what he rapping about. She's going to say, oh, that verse you spit, oh my God. And then when you told everybody, put your hands up. And I was like, oh. Like, she loved everything her son did. Loved it. He needs this woman to this day. I don't know what happened, but it was a disaster to lose that woman. Like, we used to say it, and I don't think we really understood. Like, a lot of people say, oh, man, when he lost his mom, like, people don't really know. A lot of people didn't lose their mom. They don't know what that means. You know what I'm saying? But something about this lady's connection, right, with this guy, it was so nurturing. It was so you can do no wrong, that he really could do no wrong in this lady's eyes. And she was like, when a baby calf comes out and he can barely walk, and then he grows up to be a bull. At some point, he's strong, he stands on his own 2 feet, and he still needs to go to his mom. That's what it was like. And we missed out on a beautiful, just friendship from these two. I guarantee we wouldn't have the same Kanye. I guarantee you. But to see how Jay and Dame, right? And yeah, after the fact they fell in line, but who wouldn't fall in line when the record does 4 million? Now he your favorite guy. I'm really surprised. I would have never. I know everybody got their own struggles with these labels and this and that, but I would have never thought that Kanye would have had this much trouble from the two guys that supposed to support him the most. But like I said, they put him on a shelf. They did a industry move. When they sign you and shelf you, that's what they did. No one's saying that because no one sees it. The way I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, they didn't expect this guy to put nothing. They expected this guy to just make beats for the rest of his life. They signed him so he can't go nowhere else and get no more. He can't talk to nobody else no more. We tired of hearing about this. Yeah, Kanye, you can rap. Come and sit there. Come and put. They had him on papers for a year without giving him nothing. That's the literal definition of shelved. The literal definition of shelved. You're making an album in all these different kind of ways without no help, right? But it was beautiful to see how he still persevered. He got the Grammys and all that. And this thing with him wanting to have Hype Williams do the video, right? Apparently it's not going to work out, and they didn't. He went and got Cootie to do the video for. He had Hype Williams do two treatments. He did 2 treatments, and they didn't like neither one of them. Shot 2 full videos, didn't like neither one of them. Which the guy Cootie said, you're going to get out there with Hype Williams and you're going to shoot. You're going to do 2 videos, you ain't going to like it. It's like a prophet. Because Hype Williams is Hype Williams, right? So this is my thing with this Hype Williams thing. Even I would have been like, I need Hype. At some point, like if my budgets, they're going to give me $1 million. That's when Hype was doing $1 million videos. At that point, that's what I mean. The industry was trash. Because you had this mentality at that time. You had to get Hype Williams. Or you weren't stamped yet. This dude, Hype Williams, had a freaking waiting list for people begging to give him $1 million for one music video. Good, bad, or indifferent. You wasn't a star until Hype did your video. So that's what Kanye had in his head. I got to get Hype Williams to do my video. Right? Good, bad, or indifferent. I need Hype on this. Right? And what we're looking back hindsight, it was because the industry is fabricated and is made to put certain people up to a place where if you don't work with them, you might not be as dope as you say you are. But he didn't need Hype Williams because Hype Williams' vision is an industry vision. Shiny. That's why we talk about the shiny suit man with P. Diddy and the locks they had on these shiny suits and these panoramic lenses and all this. You know what I'm saying? He did some great work. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying Hype Williams wasn't great at what he did. Missy Elliott videos and Busta Rhymes and Janet Jackson, all this good stuff, yes. But Kanye was misguided when he's going to take Jesus Walks, this kind of song, to the literal definition of the shiny suit. It was a mistake from the jump. So now he went back to Cootie and them, and they did a new video, and apparently it was everything he wanted or what have you, right? I honestly do not remember the Jesus Walks video, to be honest with you. I don't remember what that video looked like. I really don't. Maybe this was the time I started not really tripping off videos. Because, first of all, videos weren't as accessible as they are now. You can go on YouTube and just put it, you know what I'm saying? Diamond Shell, Bismarck, you can put it in and watch it. Back then, you had to wait. You had to wait till it came on Yo MTV Raps. You had to wait till it came on The Basement. You had to wait till it came on Rap City. Or some random video show or channel somewhere else, or the box. I think the jukebox was probably dead by then. But it wasn't accessible like that. So you had to sit down and literally wait. No, they had one channel that was showing videos 24/7. It would just be videos nonstop. Was that? That might have been the new when they brought the box back, and it was videos on that channel all day. But end of the day, you wasn't able to see them videos as easily as back then, right? So I don't remember Jesus Walk's video, but apparently he loved it and whatever, right? So end of the day, it's so much to talk about with this. It's so much to talk about how I feel like what we got now, there was no other way but to end up like this. Because you got to think someone who's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger in their own head, they got to get bigger outside of their head. So what was happening in 03 not going to be big enough for the man in 07. And it ain't going to be big enough for the man in 2017. It ain't going to be big enough for the man in 2022. He got to be bigger. What are we talking about? Now we're talking presidential campaigns, Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? We're talking Fox News. We're talking Taylor Swift, beefing with Taylor Swift and marrying Kim Kardashian. Like, rockstar super mega, this is just some oligarch stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's obnoxious, like, weird. Getting liposuction. Like, it's all there in the blueprint of this. When you first seen him on stage accepting his award at the Grammys, you knew that this guy was going to be a terror, right? You knew it. Mad arrogant, mad, just whatever. This is where we at. So you have to, you almost have to look at, like, what would that person do given this situation? What would Kanye from 03, who had to live through all this stuff and put his own money up, and his label didn't believe in him and left him on the shelf for a year, and he made it against all odds and sold everybody on that label, and is really matching up with his idols. He could drop the same day as Jay and give him a problem, right? He could drop the same day as anybody now and give Drake anybody a problem, right? It is what it is. So it's like, why would I be humble? So you give that man Twitter, you give that man Instagram, you give that man social media, you give him all this power, and he, you know what I'm saying? It's exactly what you would expect, a monster. His mom is gone. Like I said, his mom is gone. He has access to everything. He still has things to complain about. Oh, they won't let me in the fashion world. What was that for? This was a whole 4 years of tirade of getting in the fashion world, which everybody's like, bro, who can get in there just because they snap their fingers? Who does that? You put the work in. Right? You want us to cry for you. Put the work in. So it's like everything that he became, which we're going to see in part 3, which I'm more excited about part 3 than everything else, because I want to see how this ends. And I want a recap of what we become to know as Ye. Hootie said, I knew Kanye for a long time, but I had never met Yeezy, right? He's like, I don't know who Yeezy is. And when you look at it, Yeezy is a creation. That's not who this guy was so freaking humble, right? And I believe, personally, I believe inside he's still humble. I believe the humbleness is what makes him so angry. He when he's humble and he feels like, oh man, do I deserve this or whatever? So he got to yell out, yeah, give me my. That's why we get this whole other side. Because if he really acted like he really wanted to act and be humble, he wouldn't have had nothing. And he realized that. That's why he says, I use it as my gas. But a lot of the stuff in this documentary is amazing. Like, you watch the choir as they're learning through the wire, and a lot of the beats he used, a lot of the places he went to try to get his name on. They stopped short of saying he leaked that tape, but they said he was putting out mixtapes. It was saying he's putting out mixtapes to keep his buzz out there. I was like, wait, what? So he leaked College Dropout? Because he was saying they wouldn't put it out. And it makes all sense in the world. If he leak it and now the streets is buzzing, because back then when an album hit the bootlegger, it was like a major release. So when College Dropout, you didn't know who Kanye was, you knew then. Because everybody was playing it. Everybody in the streets had that initial, with all the demos, everybody had that. And a lot of people, I'm not one of these people, but a lot of people say that initial bootleg release is better than what he put out, because some of the stuff, they couldn't get sample clearance and this and that. I don't agree. I think that, yes, that first one was great, but it was unmixed a lot of times, and some of the stuff wasn't finished. So it's like right now, when he puts out something and then he comes back a week later and he changed some stuff. He still does that to this day. He'll put out a whole album and then come back and be like, oh, I took the vocals off, I turned this down. It's like he's still working and fumbling with it, which one of my pet peeves with him. But we all get touchy and be like, oh, as artists, we like, oh, I wish I could have changed that, whatever. I get that. But I just don't like putting out a product and then next week, you done flipped it, added 4 songs, took off 2, you changed the vocals, you made this louder, like just what did you put it out for? You know what I'm saying? So it drives me crazy. But other than that, this is what we got. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's amazing that we got to see the inner workings of this guy's life, of just how humble he was trying to be, but also he needed to put his own battery in because no one else was trying to do it. There's a lot to still talk about. Like I could go on for 3 days just talking about what I saw in this documentary, but I don't have the time to do that. And I'm sure y'all not going to watch an hour of me talking about Jeen-Yuhs, but it is a very good show, and it's like a friend is telling the story, right? I truly think it probably would have been more brutal if some outside person was just doing it. They would have been going for sensationalism. They would have been trying to expose him. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like Martin Bashir did Michael Jackson. It would more so be trying to see what kind of dirt they can lift up, you know, up under the carpet and get on you and throw it in there, make it more salacious. I'm not getting that feeling with this. This is like a guy that truly cares and he wants the world to see what this kid was and what he's going through, right? But if you watch it, let me know what you think in the comments, man. It's so much to discuss, and I'll be back. Whatever I didn't discuss on here, I'm going to try to get to on my recap when I do part 3, and we talk about, you know, where that went, or so many things that are going to be talked about in there. But yeah, in closing, I just want to say Kanye is the biggest thing on Rockefeller, and it's really, really weird to see that they played him like this. Jay and Dame got a lot of explaining to do after this has come out. And I know it was a different time, they had a lot going on, but at the end of the day, you can tell they didn't get it. They wasn't ready for real rap. And just by having that situation occur, it proves that they was kind of part of the problem, to be honest with you. They was part of the problem. They didn't bless us with Kanye. They were forced to bring out Kanye because the streets wanted it. Kanye forced them to put him out. They was never going to put him out. And that's my synopsis. But let me know what you think in the comments. Chuckwick, CLBMG. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Go hear more Force Multipliers. Me and Ugly Professor, we just dropped a video. It's called Beats Over Bedrock. Go check that out. Go check the album out. Let me know what you think. Clash the Podcast every Wednesday, live on Facebook and YouTube. Me, Dante, and Flays. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.